I'm Nate with the BMW blog, and this is the 2024 BMW i5 eDrive 40. And this morning when I woke up and checked the My BMW app, it said I had a range of 324 miles. Knowing that with the 21-inch wheels, this has an EP range of 270 miles, I decided to set out to test that. Now for this range test, I'll be doing the same as I did for the i4. I am driving in the efficient mode, and I'm going to be using the driver's assist as much as possible at the speed limit. Now this range test is going to be more of a real world one. A lot of people are looking at EVs and thinking, you know what, maybe I can't get out and do the activities that I love and enjoy. And I'm here to prove that that's just not true. I'm heading up to the North Cascades National Park, where I am going to test the range on this car to its fullest and push it as far as I can. Now this means it's going to be some freeway driving, some city driving like I am now, plus some mountain passes. So we're going to see just how well and how efficient this new i5 is. The goal today is to reach the Mazama store, which is a turnaround point that is almost exactly at half my range. So if I am able to drive as efficiently as possible, maybe I can make it back to the DC fast charge near my house. Or will I have to stop a little bit early? Now this 2024 i5 features the latest 5th generation eDrive technology and an 84.3 kilowatt hour battery. Though the temperature is a little bit warmer than expected today, it's getting close to 80 degrees now, I am still doing my best to not use the air conditioning and reduce that range. So every time I get a little bit slower in speed, I'm just cracking open that window, letting some fresh air in, and just kind of grin and bearing it, right? Now I just hit 75% battery, and that was after about 85 miles. Now that is a little bit more than halfway to my turnaround point. And when I started, the car said I would have about 36% battery when I arrived at that point, but now it's saying 44%. So I'm gaining more efficiency as I continue to drive, and then that's probably from the regen and the efficiency mode and the fact that I'm just going the speed limit and enjoying the drive. As I approach Mazama, hopefully I can get that up to a full 50% because I do have to get back. Now this being the eDrive version of the i5, it has a single motor driving the rear wheels, which produces 335 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. But if you use this boost button, it will then produce 317 pound-feet of torque. And I will say that even though this does weigh quite a bit, it does drive really well on these mountain roads. With that battery and all that weight down low, it does like to carve the corners. Now I chose this route for a reason, because State Route 20 is only open during the summer months. It's closed all winter long. And because we're here in the Northwest, that is a very long winter. And wow, what an amazing drive this is. You have towering cliffs above you, beautiful windy roads, and of course, tunnels. Going to pull into the Diablo Lake overlook. This is an iconic spot for photographs. The turquoise blue water is just stunning. Now I know it's not ideal to stop at tourist sites during a range test, but sometimes you gotta stop and admire the view. Even if it is a weekend in one of the most popular tourist spots, totally worth the view. The BMW i5 features the fully digital BMW curved display, which is awesome as it puts everything right at my fingertips, and I barely even use the iDrive controller anymore. I have my navigation map, of course. I have my efficiency meter since my full last charge. I have my current efficiency meter and e-power rating, and everything else I could possibly need to be as efficient as possible. These last few miles heading into my turnaround point are definitely eating into my range as we climb up into these North Cascade Mountains. In the last few miles, I've dropped from 60% battery capacity down to 55, and my average miles per kilowatt hour has dropped from 3.9 to 3.5. So I'm definitely heading up into the mountains here. But the good thing is I'm going to be turning around and going back downhill and hopefully recuperating some of that battery. Okay, as I expected, coming up this hill has definitely used up a bunch of battery. I just passed 50% and now I'm all the way down to 48 already. It is very steep and I've dropped down to 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour and I hit that at about 138 miles. So it's going to be very close on the way back. Now that I've gotten on the backside of the mountain pass, I've been able to coast and regen, and I've already gained back 2%. I'm back up to 50. I'm not sure how far down we're going to go, but hopefully I can still make it to the midway point at 50%. I'm getting a little nervous on the way back. Okay. We made our halfway point at 51% battery capacity left, but we got to go over that pass again. It's going to be extremely close to get back to that DC fast charging time. So I may have to use the i5 secret trick here on the way back.
You will need 1 charging stops until we're there. Should I show you charging stations on the route?
It's going to be close. It's showing me at 2% on arrival. What a cool store. If you're ever up in the North Cascades National Park, definitely stop by the Mazama store. Get the croissant. Amazing. Look at that. Delicious. Though I just gave you a check-in at the Mazama store at 51%, I thought I would jump in and tell you that I am already at 50% battery capacity after 160 miles, which is a lot more than the EPA expected range, which if I keep this up would give me 320 miles of range. Hopefully we can do that because I need to get back to that DC fast charger. This first little bit after leaving my turnaround point, I am going to lose capacity quite quickly because I am going back up that mountain range, so it should drop fairly quickly. But I will be going down the backside and we'll be able to regenerate it once again. So hopefully I can just do the same thing and I should have no problems with this range, and we should see something in the 320 mile range. Now, I'm not a normal EV driver, but I do know how to make a vehicle efficient. And one thing I've been trying really hard to do on this test, even going over these mountain passes, is to make sure I don't go over the 25% on my e-power meter. If I do that, I seem to really be able to stretch out its mileage. Now, unfortunately, one side effect of driving under 25% on your e-power meter, you go a bit slow at times. So you have to be okay with that to get the maximum efficiency out of this car. But that's okay. It's a 5 Series. It's comfortable. It's relaxing. It's a great road trip car. I am 6 hours into this drive. Not tired at all. Loving it. As expected, once I got to the top of that pass, I used up a lot of my battery. I'm currently at 37% capacity, but it's still showing me reaching the DC fast charge with 3% because we get to go downhill now. Regen, baby. Regen. I've been driving now for, 20 or 30 minutes since my last check-in, and due to the descent coming out of the pass, I am still only at 36% battery capacity from just 38% at the top of the mountain. So, amazing regen on this. It really extends your battery if you just kind of stay out of the throttle and use the regen on the downhills. It has been impressive. Another thing that makes this so efficient is this B driving mode, which stands for, I think, battery save or battery regen. Anyway, the B mode turns on the maximum regenerative braking. And it is basically your one pedal driving, which I really enjoy. On these curvy roads, anytime that I would normally go to brake, I would just let off the gas. The car slows down just like I would be braking, and then I can get back on the throttle and accelerate through the corner. I finally hit 25% battery capacity at 251 miles. The efficiency of this i5 has been very impressive. For the first time, the BMW navigation has calculated that I will arrive at the DC fast charger with 10% battery left. Thus, doing some quick math, I feel like I can make it all the way home. So I'm going to skip the charging test, do that tomorrow, and push this to its limits and see if I can do well over 300 miles of range and make it back home. I just passed that DC fast charger at 298 miles. I have 11% of my battery left, and it's telling me I can still go 41 miles. That should be more than enough to get home. We're going to keep pushing on and see just how many miles I can put on this charge. My first range warning just popped up at 40 miles left, but I'm going to take that gamble, roll the dice, and see if that is true. The guidance system has finally given up on trying to reroute me to a charger, and it's now telling me I have 8.7 miles to get home, and I should arrive with 4% battery left. We'll see. It's all uphill from here. Now that I've gotten off the highway, I'm going to put it into maximum range mode. So I click on the efficient mode and then activate maximum range. Now what this does is limits the vehicle to 56 miles an hour, deactivates all the climate controls, and gives you the best possibility to get the most efficiency out of your i5. Now, sometimes you may need to go faster than 56, and to do that, you can just deactivate it by using the kickdown, which is basically just flooring the car, or you can tap the defrost max button, and that will also deactivate it. Wow, is this i5 eDrive 40 efficient? After 7 hours of drive time, I averaged 4.2 miles per kilowatt hours. That gave me a total range of 314.7 miles. But I still have 6% left on this battery, and it's telling me I can go 22 more miles. That'd be 327 miles, which is 3 more than what it told me this morning, and a whole bunch more than the EPA. This i5's been great. I'm going to leave it here for the night, take it over to the DC fast charger in the morning, and see if we can do that 10 to 80% charge in 32 minutes, as stated. Now, since I am a new EV driver, I did make one small mistake and didn't check the power on the DC charger that's close to me, and turns out it is only 150 kilowatts. Therefore, I cannot test that claim of 10 to 80% in 30 minutes on the new i5. Now, the EPA rates the 2024 BMW i5 eDrive 40 with the 21-inch wheels at a rating of 278 miles of range. But I pushed this battery to its limits, got it down to 2%, and I totaled 326 miles, which is actually 2 more than the My BMW app showed me before I took off. So not only did I blow out the EPA rating, but I also beat the projected by BMW. So I'm going to take that as a big victory. If you enjoyed this range test video, be sure to subscribe to our channel because we continue to push all of BMW's newest products to their limits.